Harry, back in the news. You know, when you say you smell a rat, poor old Harry seems to have fallen foul of what can only be described as the narcissistic traits of Meghan Markle.
Mike Graham is about to introduce Nadine Dorries onto his show, where unbelievably the two of them will talk about narcissism.
Nadine Dorries is here. She's got a column in the Mail today saying, I believe there is only one excuse left for Harry's behaviour, and here's what it says about Meghan.
Good morning, Mike. Nice to see you too.
So, I mean, you claim that you're going to continue with your armchair psychologist hat on, so it's a very interesting piece you've written. I mean, we're all armchair psychologists in a way, aren't we?
Unfortunately, yes. Anyway, Nadine has a theory about Meghan Markle that she'd like to share.
I mean, but you've got a bit of an insight here. Tell us what you think.
Well, it was a comment that a friend who's a psychologist made to me months ago about the relationship between Harry and Meghan.
Yeah.
I think it was a group conversation we were having, and actually, to be honest, someone was saying, oh, he's completely in her thrall, it must be sex,
Yeah.
da-da. And this friend who's a psychologist came in and said, actually, I think he's a flying monkey. And I kind of got interested in that theory because I'd never heard of it before.
Right.
And I think we all know them. And it comes from the Wizard of Oz, who put a spell over the flying monkeys.
I used to be terrified of the flying monkeys in the Wizard of Oz when I was a little kid. I was frightened.
Well, they tend to be quite vulnerable and needy people who have problems of their own, actually.
Yeah.
They're easy people, easy prey for others who are narcissists to kind of put a spell over, to captivate. And what they do is they enable, they excuse, they explain the behaviour of narcissists.
Oh, the irony meter is going crazy here. This coming from the person who constantly defended Boris Johnson and heralded him as some kind of political god. In fact, here's Nadine talking to Mike from last year.
And you can't do that. You can't win a Conservative majority without the working class vote. And Boris did that. He got those Red War seat MPs their jobs. He got them into Westminster. People who've only ever voted Labour went out and voted for Boris Johnson. And he won't let those MPs down, I'm very sure. I'm very sure that you won't see it over the next few weeks. The campaign will probably have to ramp up a bit. But I think in the last 2-3 weeks of the campaign, you're very likely to see Boris Johnson out campaigning for the MPs.
Did he? I think he just phoned in a couple of piss-poor appearances.
And actually, the professional advice to how to deal with a flying monkey. If you know someone in your life who is a narcissist, you know they're a narcissist,
Yeah.
but you have someone else who's constantly trying to excuse and enable their behaviour, then the professional advice is to completely disengage.
Click here for Charlie Mullins, conspiracy theories and Vorderman's face.